How's it going? This is Simon Cody from the Walser Honda dealership here in Burnsville, Minnesota. It is my pleasure to show you around this 23 Civic Type R. I know it's a pretty special one. You don't see very many of them, but this specific one is finished in Boost Blue Pearl. I know it's one of the more controversial colors. It's definitely very, very bright, but I think it personally suits the car really, really nicely. So as you can see down the front end, you have a lot more piano black, and it's a much more aggressive, much wider stance on the road comparatively to the normal Civic or even the Civic Sport. You have a really nice and fully functional hood vent. I can actually feel the heat coming out of that right now, as well as the different vents coming down the side here too. And then the H logo being red, as well as your Type R signal there, just to let everybody know that this is a serious car, and they are very, very high performing vehicles. Looking at it, we just popped the hood. Much like the previous Type R, it is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. They did up the power just a little bit. These now make 315 horsepower, and they also have upped the torque just a little bit. And I think the part that you tend to notice the most while you're driving it is they actually retuned it in such a way where it'll have a little bit more torque lower down, making it easier to drive around parking lot speeds and traffic and all that type of stuff. So altogether, it's a little bit of an easier drive than the previous one, but that is by no means me saying that it is a lackluster vehicle, because 315 horsepower in a car that's a subcompact hatchback is a ton. The thing really, really gets up and moves. It's really fast. Moving down the side here, you might be able to see you have the 19-inch forged alloy wheels, as well as you have the contrasting mirrors here, which sets off the color pretty nice. You don't have any more chrome around the outside anymore, so it's all either Boost Blue or black. So strictly just aggression. Looks really, really nice, drives phenomenally, and just a really mean looking car. But why don't we take a quick trip around the back? So here around the back of the car, you can again see, just like the front, much wider, much more aggressive stance. You have these functional vents down here, unlike the previous one that was largely cosmetics on all that type of stuff. They are actually functional vents. Down below it, you have the nice black rear diffuser, and the signature for the Type Rs, and they have been ever since I've known about their existence, is the 3 central exhaust tips. So that's basically your automatic sign that it is in fact a Type R. Moving up, this one actually has a couple of upgrades, one of the main ones being this carbon fiber spoiler. And if you look closely at it, you can actually see there is red woven into it, which I think is a really, really nice looking touch, considering the Type R's signature color is red. I think them working that into it in a very subtle way is really, really nice looking. I love it. But overall, I think you'd probably agree the outside of this thing looks phenomenal. But another quick piece I noticed on the outside, actually, if you look on the underside of the wing here, you can see little vortex generators. You might remember seeing those on the roof on some Subarus and Evos and things like that, but that basically just rids it of any high pressure underneath the wing. So again, adding more downforce. As I said, it's a serious driving car. And then moving into the back, nice little touch. I am personally a huge fan of the red carpet mats. I think it's just, the whole carpet on the inside is red, as you will see. Just adds a little bit extra to it. And then also in here, you can see the all-weather mat, because every car that we sell has the all-season protection package. The specific one for this car actually has Type R embossed into it. So another nice little touch, but as you will probably agree with me, the best part about the car is the inside of it. So why don't we head around and go in there. So here, sitting on the inside, as you can see, it is a huge upgrade to the previous one, and then excluding that from the equation, just an all-around really nice driver-focused interior. So you can see these red Alcantara bucket seats. They are very aggressive, very nicely bolstered on the thigh and the hip there, so keeps you held in place when you're out there on the track. You can see the red seatbelt. As you know, red seatbelts are lighter than black seatbelts. Also, this one has a couple of options added to it. The illuminated door sills down there, your red leather shifter, as well as the Alcantara steering wheel. So the Alcantara, if you're not already familiar, it just sticks a little bit better, so you can grip the steering wheel better when you're driving in a more spirited fashion. But essentially, if you take all that stuff away, the new Civics are just really, really nice cars. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto up on the screen there. Wireless charger down here, your USBs there. 2-zone climate, and then you also have your full 12-inch virtual cockpit display up there. So all of that stuff considered, super, super nice one. And then one thing I almost forgot to mention, actually, if you look on the dash here, you can see it has the Civic R08617, which I will look into it, but my assumption is that means this one is the number 8,617 off the production line, which doesn't sound hugely significant, but generally speaking, they don't make a ton of these. So I think having that little insignia on the car is a really nice touch to it. So why don't we, we'll focus on the screen up here as well as the gauge cluster screen here in a minute, because there is a lot to show you, but why don't we take a look. So as I mentioned, this 9-inch display here and this one have tons of stuff to show off. So we'll go on a brief crash course with it. First little piece, you have a little drive mode switch down here, so that will show comfort, sport, and individual. Individual lets you change around all sorts of different settings with the car. Engine sound, do you want it to do auto rev matching, steering weight, engine performance, and throttle response, and all that type of stuff. So a lot of fun stuff you can customize. And then adding to it, new for these Type Rs, is actually the plus R button. So you push that, makes it in its most aggressive setting. Basically, the gauge cluster screen goes to like a more sideways sweeping rev counter, which, if you're not familiar, actually pays a little homage to the S2000 from the early 2000s. So really nice touch there. It also has shift lights that will start flashing yellow, orange, red, and then flash red when it's ready to shift. So again, a very serious driving performance car. Moving into the screen back here again, we'll go into this Honda Log R mode, because what that basically does is that will be like your track telemetry calculator. It can keep track of lap times, it can keep track of the actual lap itself, it can keep track of your acceleration, your 0 to 60, your all this type of stuff, and it can actually send all of this information and the stuff that you've logged to your cell phone, and then you and all your Type R buddies can compare it back and forth, see who's the best driver out of all you. But all things considered, this is a phenomenally nice car, and I suggest that you swing by the dealership and take a look. So having walked around it, I hope you'll agree that this is a phenomenal car, and I know that they're very hard to come by. So if you want to look into them or you have any questions about them, you are more than welcome to swing by the dealership. We're located here in Burnsville, Minnesota, and if you have any questions about it, you're more than welcome to give us a call or go online at walserhonda.com. Thank you very much.